What's going on, you guys? Happy Thursday. Thank you guys all so much for tuning back in, and let's get right into it. So, as you guys can tell just from looking at the charts today, the NASDAQ absolutely took off today, right? It was a big step in the right direction for a lot of these tech stocks that have been selling off pretty aggressively the past few months, right? They've all been getting a lot cheaper because of the NASDAQ, right? It's been taking it with them. The Nasdaq the past few months has been pretty consistently selling off for lower lows and lower highs. And today we saw the opposite of that, right? We saw finally a step in the right direction. There was an enormous green day. It was very bullish today. And the reason for that was because, as I've been telling you guys the past few videos this week, there was going to be a CPI data report released today an hour before the market opens up. And that's exactly why you see this enormous green candle here, right? Exactly at 5:30 in the morning, the CPI data report came out, and as you guys can tell from looking at how the Nasdaq performed, the overall report was positive. So I want to talk a little with you guys about that. And if you guys look at this website called FinViz, it's a website that basically just shows a lot of different reports for the market, with the CPI data report being one of them. And why was it positive today? As you guys can tell, it was expected that the inflation rates were going to rise again by 0.7%, and the amount they actually rose was 0.4%. So you guys might be thinking too, why is that viewed to be such a positive thing, right? Or why did the market continue to rally so much today when inflation rates are still going up, right? Even though it may not have been as big as expected, why it's still going up. And the reason for that is because the past few months with the CPI data reports coming out, they have constantly been hitting either the expectation or higher. They've been pretty dramatic inflation spikes. And today was the first sign when we actually the actual report was less than the expected amount. That's just a good sign that we might be finally easing this large kind of interest rate hike we've been having with these reports after reports, right? Today was the first positive one that looks like this all might be slowing down, and it was definitely a huge step in the right direction for the Nasdaq. It just rallied today. And as far as how did me and my brother do today, as you guys can tell, today we had a pretty solid day for our account, but the majority of that, we were up over $400. The majority of that was with swing trades, and I don't want to pretend like it was day trading, it was swing trading. Here are all of our filled orders, and I'm going to talk to you guys about both my swing trades and my day trades today. So as far as swing trades, me and my brother decided to load off when we saw the report come out and we saw this enormous push up. And the reason why we wanted to load off on it, because as you guys can tell, it was clearly premature, right? The market continued to rally the rest of the day. And the reason why we decided to load off was because it had such a dramatic push up for TQQQ, right? It started to rally that we thought there was a good chance it might be followed with some type of resistance, right? And some type of kind of pullback because it did push up so aggressively. We've actually been in this position before where we were holding tech stocks overnight and a report would come out and the report would be positive. It would shoot the Nasdaq up pretty aggressively, only for the rest of the day it wouldn't be making these higher highs and higher lows, but it would kind of fizzle out, and we ended up losing out on a lot of profits, right? Because it did push up aggressively and I feel like we got greedy. So I didn't want to do that same mistake today. I'd rather be in the position where I do lock in profits, but I may have missed some on a table rather than being in the position where I don't lock in profits and this thing were to have dropped hard and I would just be so mad at myself, right? Didn't want to put myself in that position, so I locked in profits. And yeah, that's basically my 2 cents on that. I didn't want to get too greedy. I've been in that position before, and I wanted to do my part in locking it in when I thought it was showing signs where it could potentially start to fall. We didn't see that obviously, but definitely could have happened. And as far as how my day trading went today, I only took like 6 or 7 day trades, as you can see, and they were all on TQQQ. My last trade was at 6:48 in the morning, so definitely did not trade long at all today, just the first like 20 minutes. And I'm going to talk to you guys about why I decided to do that. So the Nasdaq pushed up very aggressively, and I only wanted to focus on TQQQ because I want to do my part in going with the flow of the direction, right? I've taken way too many red trades trying to find the bottom of the NASDAQ, and I find it's always my best interest to go with the direction of the day. Stop trying to predict the bottom. You're always going to think you found the bottom only for it to continue to rally. So I wanted to do my part and go with direction on a day, but I also did keep in mind that the Nasdaq pushed up so aggressively, and I didn't want to keep being fully invested, right? Because of the fact that I thought it was looking more overbought with this huge move up, right? There's no reason why it'd be kind of crazy to think the Nasdaq could have started to pull back a bit, right? So I just didn't want to do I just want to do my part and basically not put myself at that much risk only trading TQs, and that's why I only traded like the first 20 minutes. So right when the market opened up an hour, this was an hour after the CPI data report came out. Right around here was 6:30 in the morning. The market kind of started to fall a little. I got in a few times to TQs trying to get this bounce off this blue EMA line, but ultimately it kept falling. I'd get stopped out. I'd buy back in trying to find a support, got stopped out, but those losses were pretty small. And ultimately we did end up finding a higher low, right? The Nasdaq did end up basically bouncing off this blue EMA line. It dipped briefly below it, but did end up using it the rest of the day to kind of rally. And once I saw that it did want to start pushing up above it again, I bought in. I only averaged in one more time, and I was able to hold and sell for a nice little profit because I was down on the day around $25 and I was able to be up 26. I made like $40 on that trade, only averaging one time. And yeah, I just wanted to do my part in calling it on the day because I didn't want to keep trading TQQ. It looked like the Nasdaq could keep running, but there was not these big moves anymore, right? It was kind of fizzling out, and I thought it was looking pretty overbought, so I just didn't want to take part in that anymore. So yeah, that's basically how my day went today. I hope you guys all enjoyed the recap. I hope you all learned something from the video, and definitely looking forward to the future CPI data reports. They can really be exciting for the market, and yeah, just to kind of understand why what leads the reports to have a positive or negative influence on the market, I find to be very interesting, and I hope you guys too. And just to remind you guys again, this was a website I used called FinViz. It's a great website that kind of shows everything kind of simply for you. And yeah, it's a great website to look for these reports. So thank you guys all so much for watching. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.